and welcome to another live stream watch-along reaction. Welcome to Canada Gold weekend plus MLS is back weekend. We start with a Canadian gold medal match in curling today, this morning, this afternoon. Should be a fun one. We start with the Mouat Rink of Great Britain versus the Yepez Rink of Canada, playing for gold in curling, the men's curling tournament. The winner wins gold, the loser wins silver. At least somebody wins a medal. Do we know what color yet? No. But we know one of these teams will win a medal. The Milano Cortina 2026 Olympics men's curling tournament. Teams going for gold today. Will Canada win a gold in curling? Or will the Great Britain team, the Scottish team, win gold here? It'd be interesting to see. Of course, later tonight, we're live for Toronto FC Dallas. And we're live for Canada, USA tomorrow morning, legitimately tomorrow morning. And then, of course, we're live for Seattle Sounders, Colorado Rapids, Sunday night. It's that simple. So, no book, because frankly, this sport is a very matter-of-fact sport. Curling is a very matter-of-fact sport. It is what it is. The team who gets their stone closest to the button in the house will score each end. If a team can get 2 stones closer to the button before another team breaks those stones up, they could get a double end as well. So you could score 2 points. Theoretically, you could score 3 per end, but normally it's 0, 1, or 2. Normally it's a blank end, a 1 stone end, or a 2 stone end, theoretically though. But either way, Canada will have the yellow stone, the yellow top stone. Great Britain will have the red top stone. Canada with the asterisk, so they have the stone, they have the rock for the first end. I would assume. Last stone, first end. Okay, yep. Canada controls the rock for the first end. For Great Britain, their skip, Bruce Mouat. Their vice skip, Grant Hardy. Their vice skip is also their third. Their second, Bobby Lammy. And their lead, Hammy McMillan for Britain. For Canada, their skip, Brad Jacobs. Their vice skip, their third, Mark Kennedy. Of course, Mr. Boop the Stone. Why we did this, I guess, because, why not? Their second, Brett Gallant. And their lead, Ben Hebert. Alternates, we'll see if they play. Kyle Waddle, alternate for Great Britain. Tyler Tardy, alternate for Canada. See if they play. But we'll see where this goes. Should be fun. Should be interesting. Canada, will they get gold or will Great Britain get gold? If we look at the schedule, men's curling results in the round robin. Great Britain won 8-5 on their semifinal. Canada won 5-4 in their semifinal. Round robin standings, Great Britain were 4th place. Canada were 2nd place. Canada were 7-2. Great Britain were 5-4. So Canada is 8-2 at the Olympic curling tournament. Great Britain is 6-4. Canada's the favorite here for sure, But Great Britain has been solid. But Great Britain upset Switzerland, and here we are. Switzerland, of course, won the bronze medal game 9-1. Man, Norway didn't care about winning the bronze, did they? Holy Lord. Just saying. So this one, both teams will win a medal. The question is which color and who? So have some fun with this one. So, curling. Curling, football, hockey, football. That's what this weekend looks like. Milano Cortina, the last 2 days of this year's Winter Olympics. It's been fun, I would say. Watched a lot of hockey, watched a lot of curling, watched enough speed skating. I've watched what I liked. And the curling will be, a gold medal will be decided. Now, review for this game probably won't happen. Because again, curling is a matter-of-fact game. It's hard to review a curling match. Unless I figure something out right now. Canada, of course, women's curling. Canada won the bronze medal there. Slovakia, Finland isn't really at 7 unless, I guess it's live on Peacock, but either way. Not that I care. Maybe Rory does. If Slavkovsky plays, but either way, curling, we begin. The Great Britain team from Scotland, by way of Scotland, because that matters, versus Canada. It is a Commonwealth derby for a curling medal. It is. Can Canada win the Olympic gold? Brad Jacobs looking for a second Olympic gold. Won in Sochi, his first, 2014. Which is 12 years ago. Holy Lord. Well, yeah, that makes sense. 4, 8, 12. No, that does make sense. I'm not good with numbers. Also not really good with the passage of time either. Great Britain won the silver at the 2022 Beijing Olympics. Well, there you go. Can they do one better? Can they do one better? They might have sandbagged the group stage, but they're here. Doesn't matter how you did it if you just go and do it, you know? And here we go. Showing the practice moments. Showing them practicing. That's what they did there. And here we go. Well, I mean, it makes sense after all the stuff that's going on in the curling tournament and Canada's in the final. I was like, hey, why not? It makes sense. I've never done curling before, and who knows, I may never do it again. Hammy McMillan to shoot the first rock, and we will go. We begin. Great Britain sweeps, and this is their first rock of 8 in the first end. Canada controls the stone, so they will have the last throw. And let's see where this first rock goes, and they put it up in front of the target. Okay, that's a choice. And Ben Hebert, right-handed, throwing 91% in this tournament, and shoots Canada's first rock of the gold medal game. Sweeping down the ice. Slowly sweeping. Again, got to get the stone closest to the button in the house to score point. And they are going to get further than the Great Britain stone, and they're going to put their stone into the green circle. So right now, Canada would score the point, but they still have 7 rocks to throw. McMillan once again. Goes wide, and they will sweep and curl it in and try to knock the Canadian stone out of the house. Slowly, and it just right in front of the stone does not hit it. But Canada, again, would still have the point in that case. Canada has 7 stones. Hebert. I don't understand what Great Britain's trying to do here. I don't. Canada's trying to knock away the British stone, and they put it right in front of it. Again, Canada would still have the point at this situation. And here comes the first shot for Bobby Lammy. 80% in this tournament. Accuracy. Their second Bobby Lammy taking his shots. A little bit faster here. And Canada gets knocked out of the center. And Canada probably gave themselves up right there. Okay. It was just a set of dominoes there. Down the middle, boom, 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 boom. Canada's out of the center, and now Britain's closest. But again, Canada controls the rock. So as long as this isn't a disaster, Canada should get a point in this end. And the first shot for Brett Gallant. 84% tournament accuracy, right-handed shooter. And he lets the stone goal go. Number 3. Down. And they get it out. And now Canada's closer, yeah. They knock the Great Britain stone out of the center, give or take. Okay. I'm just eyeballing it. I don't have one of those. Yes. Well, yeah. Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England. And another shot for Great Britain. See where they put this stone. They won silver last time, 4 years ago. And they're going to run it into the Canadian stone, and the Canadian stone will be swept out of the house. Great Britain back, possibly ahead. It's possibly ahead until the end of the end. You are not ahead until the final stone is thrown. And here comes another stone for Canada from Gallant. Kennedy will throw, and then Jacobs will throw for Canada. Canada, they will knock the British stone out, and Canada just outside of the button, but in the green ring. Canada, again, would be back ahead if this stone holds. But again, really, it's all about the last stone, give or take, unless you just have a complete disaster of a throw. Grant Hardy, Great Britain's third, 88% tournament accuracy, right-handed shooter. And he lets it go. His first of 2 stones. Their vice skip and sweeping, and they get it just past. And Britain will sweep out the Canadian stone, and the British stone is right there on the line, in the green and in the button, or right on the line of the green and the button. So again, Britain would get the point if Canada could knock that stone away. And the second stone to be thrown for this is Mark Kennedy's turn to throw. Mr. touched the stone. You have to pass the hog line. He didn't touch it this time. Okay. He doesn't want the stone to get burnt. I don't blame him. I feel like if he did touch it, it would probably get burnt in this game. I think he knows that. Canada sweeping, and it's going to get to the stone and knock the British stone not completely out of the button, but could that be good enough? We'll find out. But they get it swept, and it just, Britain's stone is still closer than Canada's. Canada has 3 shots left. This is Great Britain's third to last shot of the end. We have 10 ends, and if it's tied after 10, we have extra ends. I don't think they mercy rule a gold medal game, but I don't think that's where we're going. And they're going to Canada stone gets pushed a little bit closer, but Britain is still closer to the button. Mark Kennedy's next throw. This one's a little bit questionable. What they want to do with this shot. This one's a little bit questionable. If you're Canada. This isn't so sure. This isn't so obvious what you want to do here. And Kennedy lets it go past the hog line. No touch. Good. I mean, you got to keep an eye on it. The green line is the hog line, of course. And Canada sweeping. Let's see what they do with this stone. They're going to try to get theirs closer. And they knock the British one away, and the Canada one's in the middle. All right. 2 shots left per team. Canada, of course, controls the rock in this end. They have the last shot of the end, so they have the upper hand here to score in this end. And Mouat will throw as the skip to finish out the end. Or I would assume so, at least. They're using some time to really plan this shot. And yet Mouat will throw stone for this shot and the 8th shot. Their skip. Bruce Mouat will throw. Their skip will throw to finish the round. In Canada, Jacobs will throw to finish the round for them, the end. 85% tournament accuracy for Mouat, the skip of the team. Let's see where they put it. And they're going to knock the Canadian stone out. And there are 2 British stones on the line. They could, in theory, get 2 points in this end. With that shot, if these 2 stones aren't knocked out of the house, Britain could get 2 points off this end. Exactly what I mean here. But we'll see how Canada chooses to. Now they got to knock these stones out of place. And Canada has the last shot of the end. So as long as they don't completely screw it up, I would assume they would win this end. But that's only 1 point. I would assume. But assuming makes you an ass. So Canada trying to knock both these British stones away from their spot. And then depending on where Britain places their next stone, Brad Jacobs, the skip, to shoot his 1 of 2 rocks in this final gold medal game to start. Again, depending on where Canada puts this stone and knocks out the British stones, then Britain can put their start. It's a button, but close enough, Morrow. But Canada will hit the first British stone, knock it away. So now Canada's going to they chose to knock 1 stone out of the button and into the green ring. They didn't get both. Is that a good choice? We will see. Where will Mouat put this last British stone? Will he go down to the center? Will he go into the center and make Canada finesse shot this? Or will he try to put it back exactly where they had the last stone? It's an interesting decision. If you're Great Britain. In Canada, of course, they cannot miss this next shot to gain the point. Britain would gain 1 point now as it stands. Where this other stone finishes, we will see. And Mouat throws the last stone for Great Britain's end. Canada, of course, has a chance to answer, and that'll be the last stone of the end. And Great Britain will knock Canada's stone away. Okay, so Canada's going to have to just pop 1 into the button. Okay, that's the choice. Canada's going to have to go in between both British stones into the button. That's the choice. They have to put on the Olympic rings. That's what I would assume. Final shot of the end. Canada's got to put on the Olympic rings to get the point. And Jacobs to make the shot. Now it's make the shot or miss the shot is the story. And here comes Canada. And it's going to curl in, and I think they might have just had the perfect play for this. Smart. And they're going to get it. And I think they did. Canada will get the point on the end. 1-0 Canada to start. 1-0 Canada to start. And Great Britain will control the rock for the second end. Canada's up 1-0. They got it into the button. There we go. They got it into the button, or onto the side of the button. And Canada will get the first point of this gold medal game. Britain will control the rock. So last stone, first end. So if each team scores. But Canada leads 1-0. And Great Britain's first shot is put right on Canada's first shot was put right on the line in front of the target. Above the blue circle. And here comes Britain's first shot, and they're slowly going to just slow walk it and put it where the Canadian stone is. Just a little bit ahead of Canada's stone. Great Britain, of course, controls the end. They will throw the last stone of the second end. Canada throwing their second stone. Canada leads 1-0 after the first end. And Canada will put their next stone into the white ring. So it's in the target. They are, right now, if this holds, 2-0 up. But again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more rocks for Great Britain. And they control the end. So it's going to be tough for them not to score. Unless they just miss their shot. But again, Great Britain will put their stone onto the wide area of the blue circle. So again, Canada closer as it stands. McMillan, you could say he did miss that shot. But again, we'll see how that turns. Jacobs, Canada. Jacobs wants a yellow stone to hit a yellow stone, and Canada to put their stone into the center. Looks to me. And Gallant throws. See, they sweep. Kennedy and Hebert sweeping. It goes wide. Oh no, they hit a British stone. And it ricochet into the green circle. And Mouat gets it a little bit further. So it's still in the green circle. It sort of worked, but it sort of didn't. But, of course, Great Britain controls this end. They will throw the last shot of the second end. So as long as they have a chance to put one close, they will score the point. Fast throw. Very fast throw. And they knock 2 Canadian stones away, but Canada still is closer to the button as of now. But you take care of the other 2 stones, and that clears a lane for Britain to pop their stone where they want to put it. Canada is going to try to knock out the British stone from the target, even though it would be tough to get it closer. Again, play it safe, right? They're going to try to knock out the far British stone from the target. And they do. It's out of the house. Canada have 2 in the house. Canada is closer to the button. Right now, Canada would score the point and make it a 2-0 lead if this end holds where it is. But I'm sure it's only halfway through, and Britain still has 5 rocks to throw. So it's not over yet. If you have the last throw, it is more likely that you would get the rock closer to the button because you know what you have to do. Throwing first and not controlling the rock, if you pick up a point in that end, that's awesome, really. Canada, Britain is now closer. Canada is going to try to knock this one out. And it's on a separate side of the circle, so they can knock it out and Canada would still be closer. Or it would even put them closer. And Kennedy to throw his first stone to the second end. So what you do here, it's hard to be the team who throws the stone first and still get a point in that end. It can happen. I'm not saying it can't, but just on the balance of probabilities, and I'm not good with math, the balance of probabilities, if you throw the stone first, it's hard to be the team that scores. You're really going for an empty end. And they get the British rock out. They do. Mark Kennedy, third best in thirds and shooting percentage. It's a good thing to look at, but Grant Hardy is also pretty damn good. British third. But again, to look at this, yeah, they didn't really throw to like 10 minutes in, didn't they? And Britain will send both Canada rocks out of the house. And now Britain is the team who can get a point off of this end. So, 3 rocks for each team to throw. And Kennedy to throw his second rock. They fast. Oh, they knocked it. But Britain has still got a rock in the house. But that was a fast rock to throw. Second end. Great Britain throwing their third stone. Slowed up. Britain slows up the throw. That was not exactly what you would have wanted. That was a bad shot by Britain. It's not even a close rock. So, you know, that was... I mean, I don't drink beer, but... Hey, I mean, if I could go to a bar... Like, I like pool. Don't get me wrong. I like playing pool. But if I could go to a bar with a curling sheet and a couple of rocks... I ain't gonna drink. I'm gonna eat myself probably a burger and some fries and drink some Coke. But, you know, I'll probably be the sober one. But, you know, I wouldn't mind that at all. I wouldn't mind that at all, you know. So for Canada and women's mass speed skating, yeah. At least Canada's starting to pick up some medals. Like, there was a chance that Canada, like, they still got to win a couple. Like, winning the hockey and winning something in curling isn't going to be enough. There was a chance that the last two Summer Olympics, we still would have won more medals than this Winter Olympics. No joke. And I still don't know if there's enough events for Canada to medal in to get at least equal to what they did in Japan and Paris. And here comes Canada's next stone. And they hit it, and they're going to knock them all out. So, Canada has one stone left. Seems to me the way Canada's playing this is they're trying to go for a empty end, a blank end. Force Britain to go for a blank end. That's what they're trying to do here. Britain, of course, has two stones to throw. Britain does have one in the house. That one they put on the blue ring is right there. Alphonso Davies injured again. I know. They do have that one on the blue ring on the outside of it. One football confirmed. Yeah, I saw Davies got injured. I'm not happy about it. It's sad. But so far, I think Britain looks like they're going to get probably tie this game up here, which would mean it's a tie game and Canada controls the rock for the third end. And here comes a slow throw. Britain throws it slowly. And it gets into the white circle. Teams aware of the USA 250 patch for the 2026 MLS opener. Oh, Lord. Does that mean Toronto will too? That's going to look weird. Left back becoming a serious problem area for the Canadian men's national team now. I mean, Toronto is playing their home opener in Dallas, so I could understand them showing respect. But it would look a little bit weird. But it would also look weird if Dallas is wearing a USA 250 patch, the same one that was worn at the Super Bowl, and then Toronto doesn't. So we'll find out. You can't really win either way in this case. Canada's going to go with a fast throw, and they knock out the other stone. So, Canada has basically conceded this end. And Great Britain, if they go to the center, if Great Britain makes a shot right to the center, they could get a 2-point end and take the lead here. That's a disaster. Well, that's a disaster. And Mouat to throw the last stone of the end. The final stone of the end, and it's going to be a slow stone. And that's going to be a 2-1 end. Great Britain. Great Britain is taking a 1 stone lead. They got both stones. And it's a 2-1 lead for Great Britain after 2 ends. Oof, Maron. That's not what you want if you're Canada. Ah. Is there no way back for Canada? No, there's still 8. There's still 8 ends, and Canada still controls the rock for this end. So, in theory, they should be able to tie it at the very least. But Great Britain, I have to say, they're throwing good stones. Like, Great Britain came to play. They won silver last time at the last Olympics. They want gold this time, and the Mouat rink is a solid rink. Now, giving up too early isn't the end of the world if you're new to curling. They are a very strong team, but it's not the end of the world, no. And Canada will control the rock. Canada get the last in 10, don't they? Yes. As long as there keeps points being scored, I think if it's an empty end, if it's a blank end, the stone doesn't flip. But right now, Great Britain threw their first stone, and they put it, and here's Canada's first stone. Canada, it's a slow stone. Great Britain's first stone was put in front of the target, and Canada's just behind the British stone. I mean, I'm not surprised. But yes, as the thing goes, Canada should get the last stone in N10, yes. And I may be wrong, but I think if I was paying attention right, blank ends, the stone doesn't transfer. Because I guess your reward for scoring points is the stone goes, or if you load points, the stone goes to you, so you can come back. Because, I mean, in theory, if you get the stone, if you have the stone, you control the stone, it's easier to score going on to the end of each end. So, and that's really just mathematical, all things considered. Like, if you have the stone, you have a chance to win the round. Easier so. It's easier said. Canada sweeping, and that will knock the British stone closer to the button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 stones to go. So they've thrown 2 stones each. Great Britain leads. Canada hoping to tie the game here. And that is a stone that Britain is putting in front to block, as it looks. 2-1 Great Britain. This is the third end. Canada controls the rock. Or Canada's got to tie this game, at least. A 2-point end, I'm not sure, but I feel like Britain are placing their stones better, comparatively. And here comes Canada's next throw. You know, I feel like Britain are throwing better stones. Like they're strategically playing better, smarter, so to speak. Canada doesn't feel, it doesn't feel, and Gallant has not thrown a really good stone here. It feels to me that Canada aren't really trying to try to play their way back into more than a tie, you know, and I don't like that per se. I feel like they don't feel the impetus to try hard here, which is weird. It's a gold medal game. I feel like Great Britain wants this more. Like they want to put their foot on Canada's neck. And why wouldn't you? And they've got their stone into the button. See what I mean? See what I mean? See what I mean? Great Britain just said, screw all the other stones. We're going to put ours into the button. Yeah. Gallant's been struggling too. Hit that one away and nope. I think Britain's got this one. High guards on a draw attempt. If I'm Great Britain is starting to control this very heavily so. Playing forward. And Britain just lays one up there. Here's the thing for me. You know, if Great Britain scores in this end and takes a 3-1 lead, I think that's when you start worrying if you're Canada. If you're Canada, you got to start worrying. If Britain can score on an end, they do not control the rock. Freeze draw to the button stone is the play here. Yep. Let's just hope Kennedy can throw that because Gallant couldn't. Or Gallant couldn't. He couldn't throw it. So Canada has the end of the has control of the end, but it's not pretty. Right now, Britain would take the lead on an end they do not control. And that really tells you where this game would be going. Ay, ay, ay. Lord have mercy, man. Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's just see if he could throw it. Kennedy. Don't boop it, man. Okay, he didn't. He pulled his finger in. Good. He's being careful today because he knows it might be a disaster if he isn't. Let's see. And they get one out of there. Okay. That's not exactly what I would have done, but okay. Get one out of there and then get the other out of there. Morrissey's out for the gold medal game for Canada. They're not sure on Sidney Crosby. Freeze the end would be a good move here. And here comes the British throw. They have 3 rocks to throw, Canada. well, it'd be 2 after this. Canada would have 3, but again, they control this end. But Britain's looking like this may be an end where they get the game. They knock Canada's away, and Britain's will be swept pretty much out of the circle. Same as Canada's. So Canada's got to go for that center stone. They have to. Now, they have to. This is pretty much now go for the center stone, knock it out. You have the extra stone, tie the end. Kennedy's second stone to the third end. Here comes the stone, and they knock it out, and Canada's in the button. All right. Again, Jacobs is better than Mouat on shooting percentage for the skips. But what a shot by Kennedy. See if Jacobs could outperform Mouat here. That was a good throw there. And Mouat to throw his first stone. The skip for Britain throws a stone. 2-1 is the score. Will it be 2-2 or 3-2? Can Canada get a 2-point end or not? We'll find out. And Britain's going to knock Kennedy's stone out of the middle of the button, which you would expect that. Now it's basically, can you knock their stone out of the button? At this point, if you don't miss a shot, you should get the point. But now Jacobs, of course, he'll throw, and they'll try to knock the British stone out of the button, and then Britain will throw their stone, try to knock the Canadian stone out of the button unless they miss. If they miss, then Canada could get a 2-point end, but I don't know about that right now. And here we go. Jacobs throwing his first of 2 stones as the skip. Canada spinning kind of slow. It kind of is. And Canada gets it to the green circle. And Britain to throw their last stone. Okay, good throw by Jacobs, the skip. Britain to throw their last stone to the end. Canada has 26 minutes left on the timer to throw their stones. UK, Britain is 28. And Britain to throw their final stone in the end. And they knock the Canadian stone out. Now, Canada can just go to put their stone into the center, into the button? Or will they try to knock the British stone away? I mean, it's, do you get it closer or do you knock the British stone away? You don't have to knock it away. It's not like it's going to get you a 2-point end. Well, no, actually, in theory, if you could knock the British stone away far enough and you get the Canadian stone close enough to the button, in theory, you could get a 2-point end here if you knock out that stone. Just eyeballing it. Now, that doesn't really tell you, but so yeah, I think they're going to try to knock the stone away and see what comes out from the rest. And Canada, looks to me, they at least got one. Or not. I don't. Canada got two. Canada did get two. It's a 3-2 lead for Canada. Well, they did get two. They slowly updated. They slow walked that damn scoreboard. Well, Canada needed to get two, and they got two. Was it pretty? No, but they got it. Wasn't pretty, but they got it. They got two. Canada's up by one with that shot. And that's why you go for it. And that's why you throw. And that's why you throw that shot. It got them 2 points. And they got the lead back. People subscribing for curling, you're going to be sorely disappointed. When it's hockey and football for most of the time. But welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. But you know curling pretty well. Yeah. I do know curling pretty well. When it got popular after Vancouver, or during Vancouver, when I was in grade 3, I explained curling to all my friends because I'm like, I watched the Briar. I know curling. I knew about it before you thought it's new. I know the Briar. It's not new. Because it got pretty popular after Vancouver, or during Vancouver. I remember the time where it sort of got, and then Sochi it did a little bit, but either way. I don't really remember Pyeongchang. It didn't really. Britain, Canada, and Britain both have their stones in front of the target, so they just... I mean, I get throwing them short, but... I guess you throw it short to... I guess you throw it short to see what the other team's going to do, and then you go from there. Like, if you threw it to the center on your first stone, that would just be... I mean, I guess that's a choice, but, you know... I mean, you can play it any way you want, but... The way I've been watching these Olympics, it feels to me like a lot of the shots in curling on the first couple of shots per end have been way, way far away from the target. Like they try to put it on the middle line or in front of the target, or it may just be physics, but you know, if I was a skip, I'd be like, screw that. Go down the middle. We're going to put this one in the button. We're going to put this in the target. Like, that feels to me, if you did that, that would be an ambush. Because it doesn't seem to me, man, Gallen has a 42% accuracy in this game. Yeah, he's not had a good game. No, not at all. He's had a bad couple of games, really. But I feel personally that what if you did shoot the rock into the house just to begin the end? Like, I feel like that would be an advantage, especially if you don't have the rock or control the stone. Like, you would, in my opinion, why wouldn't you? Because a lot of these Olympic Games, and I've watched a good bit because it seems to me they've been showing curling the whole damn time. Lammy throws his. I would honestly, and that was a bad stone by Lammy. Weird. First good stone, Gallon stone, like 3 games. Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, it's just something I don't get, really. Like all these Olympic Games in all forms, women's doubles and men's, them starting and end just by popping the stone like above the, it makes me want to just say, hey, maybe you should just ambush the guys or the other team and put one into the freaking house. Like, nobody's doing it. At least from what I've seen. Now, maybe there's a game I missed. I can't watch all the time. It's like, and that's a bad stone by Gallant. Shit, you just threw a good stone, now you throw another bad one. Oh my God. I could do better. I could do better. Jesus. Four more stones to throw. We're halfway through the end. Hey, so basically 3.5 ends per hour. Okay. And Canada gets one knocked out. AKA Gallant's horrible stone just got thrown away. Thank you, Lammy, because that was garbage. And Canada's still the closer team. I'm sure that's going to go off the rails pretty quickly. Kennedy. What is the problem, though? Seriously. 88% accuracy for Kennedy. He's had a pretty solid game. It hasn't booped the stone yet. No, that's never going to die. Even as a Canada fan, that's never going to die. I think it's funny. I ain't saying he's a cheat. I just think it's funny. People freaking lost their shit. And that wasn't really a good stone by Kennedy either. People lost their shit. I think it was overblown. And it's something Kennedy's done all the time. Is the boop the stone as it leaves the hog line. Is it a cheat? Yeah, but is it incidental contact? Yeah. Is that the way he throws? Yeah. It's incidental. I find it's a freaking mountain out of a molehill is what they're doing. I mean, Canada's leading right now, and they have a chance to pick up another point on an end. They don't control the rock. I'm going to assume you're a British fan. I'm happy right now. Like, Canada looks like they're going to extend their lead. And even if they don't, it looks to me the game will be tied, which controlling, like getting the 2 points and then not controlling this end and getting a tie game, you know what? It could be worse. For an end that we don't control, we're the team who's closer to the button, and we could get an extra point on an end we don't control. I'm from UK, but I put a bet on Canada. We always bottle it. So you win either way. Okay, got it. Got it. Like, they knocked 2 of them away, but they didn't knock the closer one away. I mean, in theory, though, the UK, of course, back in Beijing, won silver. This year, they only were, one above 500 before they got to the knockout stage, and they made it to the final and beat the dominant Swiss. So who knows? If we lose, I say it's karma. And Jacobs to throw his 2 stones. Great Britain, of course, controls the end. If you're Canada, I'd say you throw one to the button. That's what I say you do, because that means you got too close. Then Great Britain has to choose, what do we do? Do we knock this one, or do we? So it's Canada could easily pick up a point on this end, and that would be amazing for the Canadians. That'd be amazing if they could pick up one here. Jacobs, 75% accuracy is the skip. If they could not control this end and still pick up a point and have a rock lead, a 2-point lead, then this game I wouldn't say it looked bad, but, being down 2 after the second end didn't look pretty, and then they're going to knock their own stone into the center. Okay. And they're going to sort of block the button. All right. So that's a choice. So right now, Canada is the closer team. Great Britain has the extra rock to throw. If they miss one of these rocks, Canada will have the extra, or will take the point in this end. Oh, okay. Vincent Company says it doesn't look too bad. I don't know if it'll be 2 or 4 weeks, but I have a feeling it won't take too long, talking about Alphonso Davies' injury. Okay. Got a €5 on the UK. Realized I had money on Sky Bet. And that's a way to, that's a punt, I guess. That's a punt, I guess. All right. Well, okay, I know this is probably the best one. If people like the curling, they could like the football. Yeah, this is probably the best game to get for a final. That is true. Either way, Mouat. Well, yeah, people subscribe for the curling. When it comes to this one, maybe they'll stay for the football. I don't know about the hockey, but hey, the good news is there probably won't be enough hockey to talk about after tomorrow, because the Leafs aren't going to the playoffs. And they missed that shot, and they put Canada closer. Ooh, okay, all right. Mouat missed that shot. Well, speaking of bottle job, Wolff, Maron, he put Canada closer. Now you put one to the button. Now they got to make a choice. Basically, all it looks like to me is Great Britain really could only go for a blank end here. They really screwed up there. Jacobs, is he going to put, if he puts one into the button, that's at least 2 if Mouat can't get it out. Oh, maybe they screwed up bad. Oh. Well, that's why they're bottle jobs, I guess. Well, that wasn't a lie. The next end is the halfway mark of the game. We're at the 4th end, and it has felt a bit quick for an hour long of 4 ends of curling. Well, over an hour. Well, I think we're about at an hour now, actually. It didn't totally start till like 12:05 over here, 12:10. And here comes Canada's final rock. They're going to just squeeze it in. And that's a good placement. 2 right on the button. And maybe if Mouat can't knock these away, but they didn't put it on the button, Canada kind of screwed up here as well. It depends on what Britain chooses to do. Canada did not put that rock on the button itself. If Mouat throws this one into the button, they will get a point. They'll flip it from even a blank end to a point. Now, do they try to knock some of the Canadian stones away, or do they try to go for their own point? If they could get on the Olympic rings, that's a stolen point and a tie game. So Do you go for the center and hope you don't overshoot it? Or do you try to knock away some of the Canadian rocks and just concede? And here comes the final throw from Mouat. And Mouat's going to be closer. And it's a tie end. 3-3. A 1-point end, and it's 3-3 going to the middle, the fifth end. 3-3 game. 3-3 game. Canada controls the fifth end. Britain, Canada, Britain, Canada. Wait, no. Canada, Britain, Canada, Britain, Canada. No, Britain will control the final end. Oh, well, there you go. But there you go. Number 5. End number 5. Here we go. And Canada, oh, they actually got there for the first throw for Britain for the first time. Good job. And right in front of the target. Let's see what Canada could do here. Their first stone of the fifth end. And Canada will, this is the middle end of the tournament or the game. Then there's 5 more ends to play until we have, of course, extra ends. But if there is extra ends, Canada gets their stone to the green circle. Their first stone is to the green circle. 2014's curling. Canada played Great Britain back in 2014. Looked like a dominant win for Canada. Things have changed. Slow rock for Great Britain. They're going to just not even get to the Canadian stone. So there you go. Canada got a gold at Sochi, in Vancouver, in Torino, Salt Lake City a silver, Nagano silver, 4th in Pyeongchang, bronze in Beijing. Canada's next stone. And just behind. Well, there you go. Okay. TFC2 is playing a preseason game today as well. So, one, two, three, 6 stones to throw here. Man, this curling stream's doing pretty damn good. I didn't expect that at all. Wow, that's awesome. Didn't expect that at all. Fun one, eh? Throws forward, and Britain throws the stone, and it knocks both stones away. Canada's still closest. Canada controls the rock, of course, in this end. 3-3 between Great Britain and Canada. Canada controls the end in the middle, or basically the middle end of the game, the gold medal game. And Gallant throws the stone, and he has not had a good couple of games recently. Let's see where this stone goes. Canada's still the closest when it comes to this game, and they hit the British stone, and it gets pushed wide. Yes, it does. Halfway, or not halfway, the next stone will be halfway through the stones for the halfway mark of the game. Yeah, no, I've seen some videos of curlers smoking while they were curling. That was badass. Like, I can't lie. That is aura. I can't lie. Is it good for you? No. Was it aura? Yes. Sometimes the most aura-filled things are not good things for you. But I guess that's why people do them. I don't know. Either way. Canada, and they knocked the stone away, Britain. Oof. Oh, yeah, I know he's not going back to Steelers. He's lost his damn mind. And here comes Gallant's second throw of the end. He's got to throw a good one here. He has to. He has to. If Canada gets a game costed from him, it's going to be because of this guy, yeah? And he knocks the British stone closer. Jesus. If Canada loses this game, I think we know who to blame. That's harsh. Was it true? 4 stones to throw. Oh, nice throw. What a throw by Britain. What a throw. Davies made of glass. Yeah, he might be. He might be. And here we go. Canada throwing their next stone. And they clear that one out. Not the best stone from Kennedy, but okay. Davies also coming off ACL tear, so muscle injuries are pretty common, unfortunately. Yeah. Snowing. Aren't they in St. Louis? Also, Arsenal fans asked me to tell you to roll over for them once they win the League Cup and Carling Cup this season. Well, Toronto didn't call the Pirates, so what do you mean, roll over? And even if they did, I would not. How the hell would we play them in the first place? Well, yeah, that's true, but either way. Yeah, they are. I mean, the only Arsenal fan, well, okay, you seem smart, McChronicle, just to be honest, but you're not, like, front-facing. The only Arsenal fan that seems smart to me is Lee Gunner. Just to be clear. And Britain Rock, oh, shit, they knocked out all their own. Well, okay, Canada knocked that Rock away. Okay. The only Arsenal fan that seems actually smart to me who's front-facing is Lee Gunner. How's the curling going? It's 3-3 tied. 2 more rocks to go in the 5th end, and Canada controls the rock. Well, there you go. Okay. Some people would be pissed about that one, but either way. Davies better get his stuff in order. I agree with that, for sure. I agree with that, but I don't know. I have a bad feeling he's just going to start getting injured to hell and back now. I have a bad feeling. But that's just me. Well, no, he'd probably go back to the Whitecaps if he went back to MLS anyway one day. I wish there was a meteor that would hit the he had. I don't want either one of them to win the league at this point. I wish Villa would find a way. Or Chelsea somehow finds a way. I mean, they're not that far off, right? Good throw by the Brits. 2 rocks to go, and Canada. We'll see. At this point, is he going to be fit for the World Cup? I don't know. But the good news about Davies is Canada seems to play better without him, so it's not like it's that. I mean, the World Cup's a different gravy, but still, you know, it's whatever. Two more rocks to throw for Canada in this 5th end, halfway through the game. And Jacobs to throw is 1 of 2 rocks in the middle of this game. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more ends after this. They're going to knock both British rocks away, and Canada's closer. As long as there's no disaster, Canada will have the lead at the middle of the game. If Man United wins on Monday, they'll be 3 points ahead of Chelsea and 3 behind Villa. Yeah, Man United's been doing well recently. Give Carrick the job. AKA give Carrick the job. Well, we did that with Ollie. Carrick honestly always seemed like a better manager than Ollie anyway, but whatever. Ollie didn't do bad per se, but you know. And here comes Britain's last rock at the end. And that's going to send it wide. So all Canada has to do now is put one into the dot. Just put one into the button, and Canada takes the lead here. Anybody but Arsenal to win the Prem. I don't know. I'd rather have Arsenal win than Man City. It's going to be unbearable, but I can't. No, I don't want Man City to win the league. I don't. I can't do it. I can't do it. Arsenal will be unbearable, but at least they're not cheats like Man City. It'd be unbearable. I'd rather it be unbearable than a cheat to win the league again before they get hammered with 115 charges. How we doing, Risklander? Personally, I wish Unai Emery would find a way to win. MLS is back today. Is this rock going to be too fast? And Canada knocks him out. And Canada's going to win the end. 4-3. We'll take a short break. Canada has a 4-3 lead going into N6. Sit tight, be back. We're back. Jacobs was going for a blank there. Well, they still got a point out of it. So you know what? At least we lead after halfway. Yeah, fair enough. But frankly, I could give a shit less about the Prem, really. I could give a shit less, as I've said before. It is what it is. But yes, they did. They did fire one of their workers, their kit man or whatever, for supporting Palestine. They threw Ozil out. Yeah. Good point. But that is a good point. I didn't think of it that way. But okay, so Man City and Arsenal both suck. I hope a meteor hits that he had. Okay, yeah. How about that? How about that? They both suck. How about that? They both suck. I don't really give a shit about the Prem anyway. Okay, that was bound to happen either way. This stream's doing pretty good. A curling stream. Wow. Yeah, no, I'm shocked too. If you're here for the curling, stay for the football. But if there's any match in curling that could help that happen, it's Great Britain versus Canada. So I guess there you go. I mean, that works, you know. That works. Could be worse. It could have been frickin' Switzerland. Well, they do have a national team, but, you know, it's Canada and Great Britain is football's their sport more than anything else. So MLS kicks off tonight. Yes, we'll be live for the Toronto FC game at 7:30. Yes. Don't worry. We were always going to do that. This was always just a plus. This was always a plus. We'll be live for the Toronto game. We'll review it. Then I'll be back for the hockey in the morning, and then we'll be back on Sunday night for more MLS. That's where I lose the Great Britain, people. Look at my jersey. What do you think? Hey, at least I hope they can respect that at least I support my local. But then again, when you do that and don't support the Premier League, they hate you. Either way, you can't win. You can't win. You support your local, be like, why do you not care about the Premier League? You not want to watch good football? If you don't support your local, be like, support your local. You can't win. You legitimately can't win. It makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. It makes no sense to me. Like, if you want somebody to support their local and they do, you're like, you don't watch good football. You watch horrible football. It's better than you think. This ain't 2008. Now, back in 2008, I'd be like, yeah, MLS was shit. It was. It was a retirement league. It was. I've seen it grow. It's a pretty talented league. If you just gave it like a game or two, you'd see it's changed. You'd see it's changed. Even if it wasn't a messy game, if you just watched LAFC versus, well, they're playing Miami today, so that doesn't help. But here we go. Canada threw their first shot at the 6th end. Here comes Britain. Just don't see TFC. They seem like they'll be better. Canada leads 4-3 in the 6th end. So we're over halfway in this game, and Canada leads by a point. You know curling? Let me explain. Well, how much do you need me to explain? Canada throws their second stone. The team who gets closest, TLDR, they throw rocks on an ice sheet. The team who gets closest to the center of the target gets the point. If your rocks aren't broken up by another team's rocks, if you have 2 rocks close to the button in the target, you will get multiple points. The team who gets the rocks closest to the point, the button, by the end of the end gets the points at the end of the end. It's that simple. There's 10 ends. Team who has more points wins, but that's obvious. TLDR, that's obvious. And they use the brooms to melt the ice and move the rock further and curl it more, because it's called curling. And that's going to block away one of the Canadian rocks and just spin just into the target. Britain gets it just into the target. Good shot by McMillan. And also, when it comes to curling rocks, here's some you don't know. They are how do I put this? They are more forward. Their weight is tilted forward, but you can't tell on that. He's injured. Rantanen's not playing. He's injured. It's also a gold. It's also a bronze medal game. So Gallant with his throw. That's probably part of it. They knock away that British stone, and Canada's in the house. The target is also called the house. Max 3 points per end. 2 is even hard to get, but yeah, I would say about 3 is the max. But 2 is even tough to get. Normally, what you're going to get is a blank end, which means nobody scores, or a end where the team who has the rock gets the point. 2 points, it's already happened once, actually twice today. 3 points is rare, and that's about as much as you could get, per end. Because you could only really, because in theory, well, it's about what's closer, but because, of course, the other team is trying to get your rocks away, I would say only 2 or 3 rocks really have a true chance of scoring. You throw 8 rocks for 2 to really only have a real chance of scoring unless you're just garbage. And you kind of got a point, but it's a Canadian sport. So, well, it actually... The reason why Great Britain being in the final makes sense... CPL is still bigger, or at least the football in the CPL is better. The football in the CPL is better than the Irish League. They have good fan bases, but Forge still sells more than 3,000 tickets. Okay? But Forge is a better team than Irish teams. I'm standing on that. I don't care. I'm standing on it. Let them play Shamrock home and away. Go see what happens. I'm standing on it. And there's a throw by Gallant, and he threw it right to the edge. God, that's a horrible throw. Could somebody get him out of here? God. Brother, this guy stinks. Brother, this guy stinks. Get him out of here. Why don't you get him out of here? Jesus, this guy stinks. But curling started in Scotland. All the stones come from one island in Scotland. So Great Britain being in the final is not weird. Ryan needs a soundboard. What, you want me to be like Jim Cramer? This game is being shown on CNBC, so that joke does mean something. Canada, I'd say, still closer to the button. Well, I don't know. They might have to pull out the... Great Britain does control the end, so it might not matter. But either way. I didn't say they were better than freaking a Greek team. I didn't say that. Every dog has its day, my friend. Every dog has its day, my friend. Oh, it is 1:30. Here we go. Kennedy to make his throw. I've been tuned in for several seconds and haven't heard Messi mention what gives. And here comes Canada's throw, and they knock away that British stone. Canada's still closer, though. 3 more stones for Canada, 4 for Britain in the 6th end. Yeah, we'll just be live for the Toronto game. The next time after this stream is over, I'll be live for the TFC game, and then we'll review that. Then I'll see you in the morning for some hockey. And I mean morning, like the ass crack of dawn. I mean 7 in the morning, Central, 8 Eastern. Yeah, that's fun. That the ass crack of dawn. Jesus, Lord. Rapids versus Sounders. That's Sunday night, but we'll be live for that. Don't worry. That's Sunday night. We got football. After this, we got MLS football, hockey in the morning, Sunday night, MLS football. Don't worry. We got Rapids Sounders. Don't worry. Look at the live streams. And Dante Seeley's on the thumbnail for you, so... Was I even thinking of that when I chose to do that game? No, not at all. Oh, that does make sense because you're in Central Time too, Rory. Yeah. You will have to go straight to sleep. I think they're playing in Portland. Yeah, you will have to. At least Toronto. Orlando versus Red Bull? No. Toronto. And Kennedy making his throw. Because who's missing a gold medal game? Right. I'm definitely going to need to drink one of those Monster Energies tomorrow. So I will be. Especially knowing there's a game at 8 o'clock, too. I will be drinking one of those. During the hockey game, will I be drinking a Lando Norris Monster Energy? During the hockey game tomorrow? Yes. Yes, I will be. You know, the Lando Norris branded one? I should say branded. Yeah, that works better. The right choice of words is branded. Yeah, the Lando Norris branded Monster Energy because it's awesome. By the way, speaking of Lando, that was bad. Good throw. Bomb. Awesome. Hey, the Brits should be happy about this one. This is their guy. Let's go, Lando. Lando is okay. World champion, baby. Die-cast carve, his first race win. Lovely. That's awesome. Yep. It's cool. That's cool. I don't know if you've seen it in the background. There's a throw for Great Britain. And yes, we will be live at 10 p.m. on March 7th for the Australian Grand Prix. Why do you ask? Why doesn't MLS have a Super Cup opening game? I don't know why they don't, actually. No. You think they would? Yes, he's with Maggie. Yeah. Yeah. João Felix's ex, who cheated on him. Yeah, he is. Who cares about that? Great Britain could get 3 here. I must be behind because I don't see it. Unless you're just saying they'll dump 2 in and get 3. I don't see it. Canada's furthest stone back is the closest stone. We'll find out though. But yeah. A model of Lando's first race win car. Yep. Besides, I don't know what to believe. But when it comes to they might have broken up. I don't know. From what I don't know. Oh, there's a little mini wheel in there. 3-4. Just hold on to it. Jacobs to throw his first of 2 stones. 4 draws, 6 takeouts. My bad. I don't really see it. But either way, I still don't really see 3. But then again, I'm just eyeballing it. Maybe I'm wrong. Dumping 2 into the center. Because then you have to knock away 2 Canadian stones, and that's just fait accompli. And I think Canada's trying to block there, which that one's definitely closer. So there you go. 2 more stones for Britain. Two more throws for Britain on their 6th end. Canada's got to get a multiple rock end at some point here. Yeah, Great Britain has to think this one through. Oh, Dalton Varsho hit a home run for the Blue Jays in spring training. Let's go. Well, that'd be nice. How you liking the Winter Olympics? It's been pretty fun. Blue Jays playing the parade. Mouat throwing his stone. Contract year Varsho's going to hit like crack. I hope so. Jesus. That's a good knocked away. Stone and Britain. So Canada looks to have the closer stone with one stone left per team. Now, if you're Canada, for Canada, yeah, for sure. It's got to be their worst Winter Olympics in history. Probably, I don't know about in general, but winter for sure. Now, if Canada throws one into the button, then now that's the question. Like, you can't not just let. If you're Canada, you can't not just let Britain go throw one into the button. Like, you have to throw one to the button. Three to four. Here's Canada's throw. Jacobs' throw. Let's see where it goes. Trying to knock that British rock out. So now all Britain has to do is throw it to the button. That's all they have to do now. That's all they have to do now. Aaron Judge, 2 homers. Baseball's so back. And Dalton Varsho hit a home run for the Blue Jays. So I think Canada's become. They're definitely not going for it like that. But I think they just gave up this end. I think they've let the game get tied. Toronto leads 1-0 in the middle of the 6th of spring training. Oh, a chance for a double for Britain now. Yeah, I think Canada might have made a mistake there. Blue Jays lead 1-0. Which is spring training, so who really cares? But 3 to 4. And there you go. Britain has a double, and they've taken the lead. They've taken the lead 5 to 4. 5 to 4 after the 6th end. 7, 8, 9, 10. 4 ends to go, and Canada gets the rock back. And now they're behind by 1. Short break, excuse me. And Canada's first stone gets thrown. Each team is thrown to curling. That's about the only one I could play. I mean, I'd love to play pickup hockey, but the British second stone, I don't think I'd be that good. Like at Olympic level, no. I couldn't skate. I couldn't ski. I can't speed skate. I'd like to try. And Britain puts one into the green circle on the house. Canada controls this end, so they got to find a way. I feel like Canada tactically have been outplayed by Britain. I feel like that's really what's going to decide this game, and the fact that Britain gets the last end. But hey, yeah. Well, I would join you and win a silver medal. You can win the gold medal. If there's 4 players on a curling team, they all win the same medal. So, sure. Canada get last stone. Actually, 7, Canada has the last stone in this end. Britain has the last stone in the 8th end. Canada has the last stone in the 9th end. Britain would have the last stone in the 10th end. So, unless there's a blank end somewhere. So, Canada might be screwed here. That last end might have ruined it. St. Louis, Charlotte's first game of the MLS season. Honestly, well, the swimming was good. And I like gymnastics. So, my mom was a gymnast growing up. So, it helps. I thought the gymnastics was good. I thought the swimming was good as well. Oh, Blue Jays are up 3-0. Let's go. There you go. 3-0 Blue Jays. Lovely. Canada's just getting outplayed tactically against or by Britain. Seriously, they're just getting outplayed tactically. This is bad. Canada has 5 more stones to throw. This is their 6th or their third stone. 5-4 Britain. 3 ends to go after this. Canada is going to get their stone nowhere near where they need it to be. Lammy's outplaying Gallant. That's a really big position, a really big part of where this game is going is because Gallant's getting outplayed heavily. For sure. You know, yeah, St. Louis is getting Boeing back. 5-4. Blocked away, and Britain has 1 in the green circle, and all those stones are gone. Jacob's having his worst match at the worst time. Yeah, I would say Jacobs and Gallant have really thrown this game away for Canada. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Gallant being so bad over the past couple of games is making people not realize how bad Jacobs has been. To be clear, let's just be real on that. They both sucked today. Kennedy, he's been good. Bear, it's not over yet. It ain't pretty, my friend. It ain't pretty. I feel like the British team, they're just more locked in. You don't see, it's the gold medal game of curling. Yes, it's the final. like the way, like when you look at what the British team is doing, they've been very locked in. They played a very good game of curling. And they've been very tactically, they've made their shots. They've tactically chose correctly where those shots should go. They have not made really any mistakes, the British team. Canada have made too many mistakes, and that's where you are. That's where we are. I think Britain's winning 5-4. Three ends to throw. 8, 16, 24, 28 more stones. That's going to be tough. British up 5-4, 7th end. Yep. Canada controls the stone in this end, but they're really not making the best plays. Gallant. They're going to knock the British stone out of the house. Canada, 3 more stones per team here. City time. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Kapanen's playing with Finland. With Aho, Finland did some right. Sadly enough, they didn't do it till the 3rd place game. Playing forward. Britain, slowly. Pretty much just, they're going to slowly just roll one into the button. There you go. Are you confident about Canada winning this game? The way Britain's playing right now, no. I think Britain, sadly, I think Britain has this one. I hope I'm wrong, but even if Canada ties this end, Britain controls the rock for the 8th and 10th ends. Britain hasn't made any mistakes. The Mouat rink has not made any mistakes in the Canadian. The Jacobs rink is just, they haven't had it today. They haven't had it today. 2 of their shooters have been garbage and made a lot of mistakes, and that's where we are. And Canada gets the British rocks out. So 2 more shots. See what they want to do with that rock, but I'm Team GB, but I'm happy to be here. Well, I mean, they won the silver last Olympics with the Mouat rink, and here they are now. And let's also remember that Great Britain, Scotland, is where curling was born. And that's where all the stones come from, is Scotland. So, in theory, they should be good. It's not Canada, but in theory, they should be good. Like, I mean, yeah, it's cool to be in a gold medal game. And y'all have a very good team. Y'all have a very good team. And I respect wholeheartedly the Mouat rink. They've been amazing. They've been amazing. The Mouat rink. Their backs have been against the wall pretty much the whole tournament. They found ways to win. Doesn't seem like bottle jobs to me. And here they are. You know, respect. If yous win, no issues, you deserve it. Well, same to you. Same to you. But I don't see how we come back. 2 more stones to throw for Canada. 1 more stone for Mouat with 3 ends to go. About 2:30 is when this will end, give or take, yeah. 4 countries as 1. Well, that's the way it works in the Olympics. Great Britain competes as 1. Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and England, they all compete as 1 in the Olympics. In football, they compete separately, unless it's Olympic football, which that's just a whole can of worms. I have no idea why it's different. Ask the Olympic Committee and ask FIFA. I don't understand why it's different. Playing forward. Canada shoots and they hit the British rock away, well, that's not what we're covering here, aren't we? For me, it doesn't make any sense to me either. You know, like sometimes, hey, if the British women or the English women qualify to the Olympics through some sort of football tournament, I think it's the Euros, or was it the World Cup? Sometimes they had Team Great Britain play in 2021. Well, women's Olympic football is a little bit more taken seriously because it's always been a more meaningful tournament. Men's football, it's a U23 tournament. So, and I don't think they've ever, besides 2012 when London hosted the games, I don't think they ever, men's wise, have ever even considered putting a team GB into the men's Olympic football tournament. They had to because they hosted the Olympics in 2012. They had to, but. And I think, yeah, Scotland's the main reason why Scotland's the main reason why those home nation football teams don't happen. It's not really Wales. It's not Northern Ireland. Of course it's not Northern Ireland. It never would be Northern Ireland. I have Irish blood, but I will not speak. I will not speak. I'm going to piss somebody off if I do. If I speak, I will piss somebody off if I do, so I will not speak. I have respect for the Scots, yeah, I do. English, I mean, I have English friends, but, I mean, in theory, Canada should. I mean, the king is still the king. Like, Canada is still a British Commonwealth. The king is still the king. Not that I agree with it, but, you know, whatever. And Canada's going to put one, and Canada gets the tie, 5-4, or 5-5. Yeah, but my family origin, from what I've been told, or from what I've been told about blood, Native American blood, Irish blood. I think I have Italian blood because of my mom's real father. But either way. 5-5 anyway. Wanted a blank there, but not having the 10th and hammer is big. Yeah. So. And I don't know. I think the Irish comes from my dad's side. So. And Native American. At least you believe my Nana, but you can't ask her. From what she told me. Now, I've heard, though, speaking of blood, well, hammer is a name for the stone, either one. Speaking of blood, I've heard that now Canada's starting to allow people to get citizenship due to, like, past grandparents and great-grandparents being Canadian, so. We'll see. That's a good idea. I'm not disagreeing with it. I thought French went to Canada. They went to Quebec. They went to Quebec. Long story. Quebec. Quebec is where the French are, or where they settled. But the British also settled in Canada. It's go take a history class. And that's the first stone for Britain. 5-5, 8 ends. So, if you look at names from Canada, a lot are English. Well, that would make sense because most of Canada was settled by the English or by the British countries. And then, of course, Canada is still a country where the king is the king. I'm not a monarchist, but, you know. And then, of course, there's a governor general who is the head of state in lieu of the king unless the king shows up. Long story. And the Canadian parliamentary system is the same as the British parliamentary system. The House of Commons, voting by ridings. The team or the party who has the most seats gets the prime minister. Minority government. Strange, isn't it? Well, no, I mean, it just makes sense, I would say. Like, historically, it makes sense. I don't think it's strange. Like, Britain settled the bulk of Canada and the French settled Quebec. Most people follow the British ways compared to the French ways unless you're Quebec. But they're still in the country, which there's been a long era of separatism there, but we're not gonna totally. But then again, every British ruled country has its era of separatism, or at least parts of it. AKA Ireland and Northern Ireland. So it's not like it's, and also Scotland wanting independence, which I hope they get it, you know, I hope they get it. If they want it, they should get it. That's the way I see it. Canada puts one in the green circle. If you want, which means then these guys would be Team Scotland and not Team Great Britain, but you know. I have my respect. I have respect for Scotland. I really do. Even if I've shit on their league. Besides Rangers. Son is going to, if I didn't say that, he's going to snitch on me. I've said the Scottish Prem was ass besides Celtic and Rangers before. Yeah. So. And then this year, when Hearts was number one, or Hearts has been number one for most of the season, and Celtic's been ass, and Rangers were ass. But, I mean, I do support, when it comes to the Scottish Prem, I do support Celtic. Or at least I would say I support Celtic, so. What about now they've equalized? Well, just because, well, let's see what Gallant does before I say anything. Oh, no, let's not start this again. Don't start. Son's going to go after your ass now. Don't start. I didn't want to start it. I didn't want to start it, but okay. I mean, Hearts is number one right now, so. I mean, what do you call that? Son, I don't know if you were here the time when I talked shit about the Scottish Prem. Like what, 4 or 5 months ago or whatever? I was still in the old house when I did that. Yeah, so it was like 4 or 5 months ago. Maybe 6. Hold on. Shit, it was at least 5 months ago, if not 6. Holy God. Either way. Son really loves defending the Scottish Prem. I'm not saying he's wrong, but no, they're still going. It's just 5-5, middle of the 8th end. I got sent off on a tangent. That's my bad. That happens on this channel. So if you join, if you subscribe to this channel and watch the football streams and other stuff, there are times where I get put off on a tangent. If you don't like that, you don't have to be here. 10 ends, yes. Unless it's tied, then more. There's a chance for extra ends, but at least 10, yes. 5-5. Canada sweeping. They're fourth. They're halfway mark stone. Oh, God. Yeah, let's just make a dam of stones in front of the target. Like, that's a good idea. Shit, might as well be worth the try. And that's going to be... And, yeah, they broke the dam. Are you watching LAFC versus Inter Miami? Yeah, that was a good shot. No, Toronto. I say Toronto. I'm watching my club. They may not be good, but, well, who knows? They might actually be somewhat good this year. I have no idea. We'll find out. Oh, nice play. Oh, good. Kazuma Okamoto made a good play in spring training. Good. Yeah. 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 Well, I mean, congrats to GBR. To Great Britain. Why congrats? Why our team paid $22 million for Josh Sargent? We need a striker. That's why. We need a striker. That's why. And we have the money. Is it smart? We're going to find out. Well, at least Canada has the closest stone still. Sometimes when you need a striker, you overpay badly. I'm sure Prem teams know how that feels. I mean, I've never been a fan of Josh Sargent. This kind of feels like I've always called him a fraud. This kind of feels like my personal hell. Now I have to back him. Some people are going to be like, oh, that's funny. Scarborough, a non-league team. Huh, well, there you go. Respect. You know, some people who know how I felt about Josh Sargent calling him a fraud, they're going to be like, oh, this is funny. Ryan's got to root for him. Lol. That's going to be, I'm sure some people are laughing, be like, oh, he called Josh Sargent a fraud, and now look at this. Now look, he has to root for him. Yay. Well, just because I think he's a fraud doesn't mean I'm going to boo him. I'd be an asshole. Great Britain also has Match Stone. Yes, saw Macclesfield, the FA Cup. Yep. Then make the upset they had against Crystal Palace. Yeah, I saw that. Good for them, especially as a Phoenix club. I mean, that's awesome. I love stories like that. As a Phoenix club beating the FA Cup champions, reigning FA Cup champions. They've had their problems. Two shots left in this end. And then we're going to the 9th end and then the 10th end. I have no idea how curling works. It's 5-5. Canada throwing their second to last shot. Curling, the team who gets the closest to the center. Oh, St. Louis is playing well. Well, good to hear. The team who gets their stones closest to the center of the target scores the point at the end of the end. If there's no team in the target, it's a blank end. Right now, Canada would get the point as it stands, but I'm sure at some point. Worst case scenario, Britain would only get 1 point. but they have the last shot at the end. So as long as they don't totally make a mistake. Canada controls the rock for the 9th end. Unless it's a blank. Well, archery, but ice. More like shuffleboard. More like shuffleboard. I'd say because Great Britain controls the final end, I would say 65-35. Great Britain wins this game. Canada's at least got to get a blank end here. And then ice cross is on its way to make it for the France 2030 Olympics. Wait, is that crushed ice? Is that Red Bull crushed ice? That's going to be in the Winter Olympics. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love ice cross. That's awesome. I love that. No, Kennedy is not. Nope, he is not. He hasn't admitted to shit. Which, the way curling works, I mean, it's more of a gentleman's sport, so Canada's is still closer. So, basically, it's do you admit it? And he never has. I wish they added football or basketball to the Winter Olympics. That would be dumb. Do they play on ice? No. But they play football during the winter. Never said it was a good idea. Basketball's indoors, but they play that in the summer because it's a summer off-season sport. Football, I'd probably rather play it in the summer because it's played outdoors. But if it's basically, think of it like this. If it's played on ice, it's a winter sport or snow. If it's played on grass or a floor or indoors, well, this is indoors, but well, it couldn't make it worse, could it? Canada shot. Canada knocks out the British stone. And all Britain has to do to get a point in this end is put one right on the button. So Britain very likely will score this end. Canada's closer right now. Canada has to rely on a missed shot by Mouat to get a point in this end. How long is there to go? 2 more ends. Canada has to rely on a missed shot to somehow score in this end. Very likely Britain will have the lead after this end. 2 more ends. Can the Winter Olympics add some new sports? Well, they are in 2030. Just said about ice cross. It used to be Red Bull Crush Ice, which is pretty cool. Here's the sweep. And Britain's will be closer. It's 6-5 going to the 9th end. I mean, there are less things you could do in the winter. 9th end, Canada controls the rock. Canada's got to go for a 2, like they have to. Canada's got to go for a 2-point end. They have to. Because if they're tied going into 10, I don't like their chances. I really don't. If they are down after 9, they're done. Canada has to, even if they're tied, I don't like their chances going into 10. I don't. If they're leading going into 10 and it's a 1-point lead, that's something. They'll at least get an extra end, I would assume. If they're down, they're done. If they either have an empty end and it's where they're down going into 10, or they're tied, they're probably screwed. They're definitely screwed if they're down going into 10. They're probably screwed if they're tied going into 10. If they're up 1, at least there's an extra end. If they're up by 2 somehow, if they get a 3rd or 3 end, a 3-point end, which is possible, I think they have this, but you need a 2-point end if you're Canada. You have to draw. You have to get a point here, and you really need to get 2. Because that's the way the calendar works. That's about all I can say, my friend. That's just how the calendar works, my friend. Simple. Got 11 likes on the stream. That's pretty good. We've had a fun time here, eh? And that's Canada's first shot. See where Britain put theirs, and let's see where Canada put theirs. They've missed like the first shot every end. And Canada, they know what they need. They've got theirs in the house. And it's going to go just on the line of the green. They know what they need. They know they need a 2-point end. They know that. So. Well, there you go. That's got to be. Well, this is a good day. There you go. Playing forward. And Britain just knocks Canada's stone into the green, so they're the closest. There you go. What a positive day. Yay. Didn't realize curling would do so well, but it is. Love to see it, eh? Canada, slowly. Join the Summer Olympics just because of soccer, but not everyone can qualify, which is sad. There's not enough time for a lot of teams to qualify. LFAF is reffing MLS games again. That's a good thing. He's like the best referee in pro. Shallowy is striker today. Well, Aristizabal is healthy, but Corbianu isn't. So I think Shallowy will probably play on the wing, and Aristizabal will probably play at striker, unless they're just not. He's just not fit. But then why you put Lowell on there if you know? Either way. How we doing, Isaiah? How we doing? And here comes Britain's stone being thrown. Blocked away. And Canada's still closer. Forgot MLS starts today. I didn't. Long time no seen. It's been... Canada, they need one just to get themselves tied. Then somehow steal the 10th end. Canada knocks away that British stone. Canada's got to hope they could get a double or a 2-point end. So far, they have a chance for that. One, two, three, four, 5 stones to throw in this end. I know we get it. We get it. Hey. We're happy. We're happy. Well, I would still say Canada's is closer, but no. MLS gets a new calendar next year. Yep. The fall-summer calendar. Yay. Spring already, to be honest. It's not spring until March. To me, honestly, spring starts at Easter for me. To me, spring starts at Easter. So, well, I say the second straight severe weather event, that's when spring starts for me instead of snow. You know, no, that actually makes sense. Yeah, no, we'll go with that. The second straight severe weather event. Like once you start, or the second straight enhanced risk event we get, that's spring. That's spring. Spring does not start until you get 2 straight enhanced weather, severe weather days back to back within like a week or like 10 days, you know? That's when, so we're about, I'd say, a month away. Spring training means spring's on its way. Yeah, but it starts in February though. But yeah, on its way, sure. Yeah. Blue Jays are winning, right? Speaking of, last time I checked, they were. Four stones to throw in this end, and then there's 8 more stones to throw. If it's spring, why are the Winter Olympics still on? I didn't say it was spring yet. There hasn't even been one enhanced risk severe weather event yet. Nice shot by the British. Ooh, now this gets a bit shaky. How many Canadian in the rings versus Great Britain? 2, but Britain has the closer stone. So. Why can't you get 0 points here and take the hammer? Well, they might try that. Honestly, if I'm Canada, I might try that. And then go for the 2 in the 10th end. You know what? I like your thought process. Canada gets 1 to the button. 3-0 Toronto Blue Jays, bottom 8. You know what? I like your thought process. Go for the empty end so you can go for 2 in the 10th end and win it there. I like your thought process. I like your thought process. Instead of giving Britain the rock, I like your thought process. Unless I'm missing some, I think if it is a blank end, you don't give it up. So you know what? If it's safe to go for a blank end, you do it. I like your thought process. Because that's the only, honestly, that's probably the only way they win this game. Blocked, boom, boom. Oh, but they put Canada right there. Hey. 3 shots left for Canada, 2 for Britain before their final end. Yeah, I agree. He hasn't had a really good game today, though. Jacobs hasn't had a good game today, but he normally does. He's probably having one of his worst games so far. And Gallant hasn't helped much. Well, hey, there you go. Just put on the parking, eh? Thoughts on Mets taking Bo Bichette? You know what? If that's what he wants, so be it. He ain't going back to the World Series. Because the Mets ain't beating the Dodgers. I'll tell you that right now. Not that I would complain about it, because that would probably be easier for the Blue Jays if they found a way. But either way. Joining late from Costa Rica. As in you're vacationing there, you're from there. And you know what? Watching the Winter Olympics in a summer like paradise, you know what? I'll drink to that. I'll drink to that. Vacation, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll drink to that. I'm a little bit jealous now, eh? I'm a little bit jealous now. Six to 5. Halftime in St. Louis, Charlotte. All right, let's check the score. Fop Mob, do your job. 6 to 5. Mouat throws 0-0. Think the Mets will miss the playoffs? No, I just don't think they're going to beat the Dodgers. Where did I say the freaking Mets won't make the playoffs? Well, right now, the 2 Canadian Stones, there are 2 Canadian Stones in the blue. They would get 2 points off of that. Mouat just missed the easy double. Good. Good. Mets in the World Series over LA? I just said no, they wouldn't. What are you telling me? This might end up being what Canada needs. They do have 2 shots, and Canada have 3 in the target. And they have 2 shots to throw, and Mouat only has 1. This might be the end Canada needs. Don't blow it. And depending on what Mouat does, then you place it to see what you could get. I see the Dodgers getting close to a 3-peat. They're probably getting it. Who am I kidding? Who are we kidding? They're probably getting it. Canada, gonna place it in the button. Okay. I have a hot take regarding the past 2 World Series. Shoot. 1 shot left in this end for each team. If Canada has a 1-point lead going and Mouat takes the timeout and they're going to talk this one through. If Canada gets a 2-point end, they've pretty much considered, well, I don't know about that, but they've pretty much, very likely, if they get a 2-point end, they've pretty much put themselves into a extra end unless it's a total disaster or Britain gets their own 2-point end. But as long as they can hold Britain to a 1-point end, if Canada could get 2 here, they would at least get an extra end out of it. How many Canadian Stones are closer to the next Great Britain? They're all in the closest Great Britain one's out of the target. Canada's all in the target. 2 in the blue circle, 1 in the button. You know what? Honestly, yeah. Honestly, I don't disagree. I honestly don't disagree. And Britain's going to decide. They might be thinking about trying to knock out 2 of the Canadian Stones. Or are they going to go, okay, they're going to mark it. I mean, you're not wrong, honestly. Yeah. Canada, the Blue Jays had so many chances. They had 2 chances to win the World Series. 2 games. All they had to do was win 1 game at home, and they blew both of them. You know what? You're right. It is embarrassing, the Blue Jays losing the World Series the way they did. I don't disagree. And now it's going to be tough for the Blue Jays. Even if the Blue Jays make it to the World Series again, it's going to be harder to win against the Dodgers. They probably missed their best chance. I don't disagree. What does it say? Must be behind my gambling app. Says Canada's now minus 300 to win. Well, maybe I am. Maybe it is a 7-second delay or something. I wouldn't bet on curling through each end. And there's a British stone in the button. Now Canada has to knock it out. Where's your question? I have some ideas for the Fall Olympics. Well, what are they? And that's not a question. Yeah, I agree with that. Base running costs the Jays more. Yeah. Final Canadian stone. They have to knock out the British stone and knock it away far enough that maybe those two other wide stones end up being a double for Canada. It might. It probably will. It probably will. And Brad Jacobs to make the final shot at the end, the skip. Well, this is the first curling game I've ever done live, so yeah, I know I need scoreboards and such. I know. And they've knocked it out. And Canada has 3 stones. Let's see what they call. Canada's at least tied the game. There's 3 in the house for Canada, and they've got them all. It's 8-6. It's 8-6. They get a 3-point end. And they have legitimately gave Great Britain a tough task in the final end. It's 8-6. Canada with a 3-point end. All the stones go to Canada. And Canada lead 3-0. They got more than they needed. And that might just be enough. Britain has to score a 3 to tie the game. No, they have to score a 2 to tie the game. They have to score a 3 to win in the final end. Will they fall under the pressure? 8 shots to throw for both sides. 8 more shots. Canada up by 2. 8-6. Canada leads. Great Britain holds the rock. They control the rock. They shoot last. 1 more end. 2-point lead for Canada. 8-6 for Canada. What a 3. What a 3-point end. A 3-stone end for Canada. And that really helps it. And they've got to the first shot already. Canada. As long as Canada doesn't give out multiple, they would be gold medalists. No. And they put one in the button. Canada puts one in the button to start. The more you throw them into the button, the more they got to knock them out. Smart play. Now they go for it. Canada has a high likelihood of winning the gold here. They're letting Judge down. I agree. But I love to see it. Let's go Blue Jays. And Britain's first throw of the final end. And they're slow walking it. They're slow walking it. They're slow walking it. Do they suck Britain in to trying to shoot the center out? You want Judge to be ringless. Of course I do. I'm a Blue Jays fan. Why wouldn't I? I don't want the Yankees to win a ring. None against Judge. But if he goes to the Giants, no. Like if Judge left and went somewhere else, is curling like bowling? No. Jacob's best shot of the game at the right time. Hey, at least unlike Gallant, he hit it, you know. Like if Judge went somewhere else, like, well, unless it's the Dodgers, then no. He's not going to be ringless in that case. If Judge goes Kevin Durant, he's going to win a ring, and I'm going to hate it. But say Judge goes to if Judge goes to the Red Sox, which he would never do that, but say Judge goes to the Cubs, I would not be mad if he won a ring. I'd be happy for him. Great Britain will throw their first few guards. They need rocks in play to score a crooked number. I agree with that. But again, Canada's kind of trying to suck them in, throwing it into the center, but Great Britain is not falling for it yet. That is true. 2 rocks through. Canada have 2 in the house, 2 in the point, or 2 in the button. 6 rocks to throw. Great Britain holds the rock. And Canada, they will not suck Great Britain in yet. And Gallant, can he make some of his better shots of the game to defend or offensively defend? Well, did Portugal even ever qualify for the Olympics in football? I don't think they have. Because there's so less teams. There's so not enough teams or whatever, you know. Whatever. Abear and Kennedy sweeping, and they're going to put another one in the house for Canada. And they're just stacking them, which, hey, you know what? The more you stack, the more they'll still be in there. So you know what? Go ahead. Offensively defensive is Canada. 2 corner guards. Britain, defensive, which they got to score like 2 or 3. So Canada is being smart. Britain not falling for it. 3 minutes for them to shoot each of their stones. Britain. Britain going to start sweeping, and they're going to run straight to the Canadian stones, and not enough at all. Not enough power on that. 5 stones to go. Canada leading by 2. What a game. What a game. What a game. If Britain wins, they've earned it. If Canada wins, they had a perfect end at the right time. An absolutely perfect end at the right time. Gallant throwing his next stone. Knocks away the British stone, and well, he gets 1 out of the guard. Okay. Was it a bad shot by Gallant? I don't know. I can't say it was too bad, but, you know. Right now, Canada leads by 2. Britain needs 2 to go to an extra end. Britain needs 3 to win outright. Right now, it looks like they're not doing that. Well, good for him. I hope it's cinema if he does that. 5 shots left for Britain, 4 for Canada. Wow, what a game so far. Britain sweeping. Oof. And that's going to hit and put Canada right into the button. Okay. Now, Canada honestly played this perfectly. Britain kind of so far doesn't look like it, but maybe it's a long gambit. Maybe it's a long gambit. So far, I think Canada outfoxed Britain here. Kennedy to make one of his last 2 shots of the tournament, unless we go to another end. Knocks 1 away. They get the 1 out of the guard. Canada have 2 in the button. Britain have 4 shots to try to find a way to get 2 to score. But them knocking that 1 away totally obviously shows you where Britain's going to put this one. They're going to try to knock away these 3 Canadian stones. They're going to curl this one in. And no, I think they've missed completely. I think they've missed completely. Unless, again, this is a gambit. Canada has 3 stones in the house, all bunched up around the button. Britain has 3 stones in the house, all behind the Canadian stones, like on the outer circle of the Canadian stones. Right now, I think Canada would score 2. Yeah, Canada would score 2 if this was where it would hold. Kennedy making his final shot. Canada makes a timeout. Barely any other countries play USA football. Well, they're going to have, Risklander, there's going to be flag football in 2028 while it's in LA, so that's probably why, because it's an American sport. But flag football. I just hope Tom Brady plays for the USA. I hope he does. Not looking good for Canada here. I mean, unless you see, it could be a long-term gambit of Great Britain put him on the outside and then letting Canada not realize what the hell's going on, but it doesn't look as bad as it looks. Maybe we're looking through different ways. Yes, flag football at the 2028 Olympics in 2 years. If Tom Brady plays, well, I don't know. I don't even know if Canada will qualify for flag football, but if Tom Brady plays for the USA, I'll root for the USA. That's all you got to do. Really, I'd just be rooting for Tom Brady, but it'd be like when he was at the Bucs. I'm just rooting for Tom Brady, that's all. Who gets to even represent that? I'm sure it's going to be for the USA former NFLers who are still fit enough to play flag football, which I hope that means Randy Moss and Tom Brady get to play together because they deserve it. The only thing that would be better than the undefeated season they never got is an Olympic gold medal. So, no, I want Tom Brady and Randy Moss to play flag football together for the USA. And hopefully Canada doesn't qualify. So, I can root for Tom Brady and not feel bad about it. And Randy Moss. Let's go, Pats. Yeah, the same team that got dominated by the Seahawks. What do you mean? And Canada slowly rolling that one in. And they get one closer by knocking a Great Britain stone into theirs. 3 stones for Great Britain. Well, there's always sports that are more nationally connected at the Olympics that join, at least the Summer Olympics. Baseball and flag football are those 2 for the USA. At least they're not bringing back breakdancing. I'd rather have flag football than breakdancing. Canada got 3 at the button here. Yeah, looks better for Canada than Britain, to be honest. You know, I'm going to say this. I would rather flag football be at the Olympics than breakdancing. Because what the fuck was that? At least flag football is a sport. Comparatively to breakdancing. The only thing breakdancing did was make that ray gun girl look like an idiot. And nobody will ever forget it. So, at least we had that, right? Exactly. Great Britain throwing their third to last rock. And will Jacobs, who will be the hero? Will it be Mouat or Jacobs? In Canada, and they still have 2 in the button. They still have 2 in the button even after that shot. Mouat and Jacobs. 6-8. Canada leads by 2. 2 shots to be thrown each. It's 40 degrees. What do you mean sunshine? Yeah, it's sunny, but it's cold. Two more shots to go. Holy shit, this game was almost 3 hours. 12-1, 1-2, 2-3. 58 seconds left for Canada to make their shots. And let's see where Canada puts this. They knock away a British shot. And Canada's still in the button. Yeah, I don't know why I asked that question. You in St. Louis right now? Shit, why? Either way. 2 more shots for Britain, 1 for Canada. As long as Canada could somehow keep this game from being a double end. Canada has 1 in the button, 1 wide. They have 2 closer than Britain. Britain has 1 there. So Canada has 2 stones that are closer than Britain's 1 stone. Watching the St. Louis game right now. Britain has 1 minute 11 to make their shots. What does Britain have to do? They have to score 2 to send this to an extra end. They have to score 3 to win outright. 42 seconds left. Mouat takes his second to last shot, or his first to 2 shots. Well, I guess second to last in the game, yeah, for sure. Rolls it. Here we go. And they knock the Canadian. Oh, shit. They knock the Canadian stones out of the button. Oh, shit. Now, Canada's got a decision to make. Try to knock out the 2 British stones. And there's still that stone right there. .28 seconds to make their final shot. And Kennedy to make his final, or Jacobs to make the final shot. 7 seconds. Not that it matters what's ever left on the clock. Canada knocks it away. Kennedy sweeping out. And Britain still has 1 in the house. And now Canada, well, Britain's going to have to shoot at Canada's rocks. 1 rock to go. 6-8. Can Canada stay closer than Britain with a block shot? 25 seconds to go with Mouat. Trying to keep Britain alive with a 2-point end. And that's still possible. The final shot. If Canada could stay within the circle closer than Britain. And Canada will win! Canada wins! Canada wins! 8-6. The shot does not stand. And it's a 1-point end for Canada. Canada were closer. And they make it 9-6 for Canada. Canada, 9-6. Their shot was closer. Their stone was closer. And Canada wins the gold medal. The Jacobs Rink wins the gold medal with a 3-point end in N9 and a 1-point end in N10. The Jacobs Rink gold medalists in Milano Cortina, 9-6. The Mouat Rink fell apart at the last second. Wow. At the last possible moment, the Mouat Rink fell apart. They tactically outplayed the Canada Rink, but Canada found their answer. Oh, Canada, oh, baby, gold medalists, the Canadians. The Jacobs Rink. Wow, what an ending there. With that being said, if you like this stream, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Hit that hype button to put this stream into the algorithm, because that's all you'll get from this. Canada wins the gold medal. Send comments, put comments on the live stream, all that great stuff. I will see you at 7:30, 7:25 Central, 8:25 Eastern. FC Dallas versus Toronto FC. We will be back for some football later tonight. And then we got some hockey in the morning. So we just keep going. We just keep going. Football, gold medal game, football. Live RSR, live RSR, live RSR. So that's what we're going to do. So I will see you later for the Toronto FC game. No review here because it's pretty matter of fact. Canada won the gold medal. I'll see you later. 9-6 for Canada. Congratulations to Canada. Commiserations to Great Britain. That Mouat Rink fought hard, but it wasn't meant to be. I'll see you later. I'm riding them out. Peace. See ya.